Okay. Hi, Tenno, this is Mako, and welcome back to our stream. I don't stream very often, but I thought I'd get some info out. Joining me is Xerxes, my small little cavat. Do not judge the small kitty. It's adorable. Okay. So, what's been going on, everyone? Well, we got the Old Blood, we got Empyrean, air quotes, coming, and we've got the new Melee 2.9/3.0. Now you may be wondering, what is the overall benefit of these systems? Well, Lich gives you a super grind wall, not very rewarding system. That's just annoying, and the devs are refusing to edit or alter because I honestly don't know. System doesn't work, it's not as intended, it's not as what was, shown. So I don't understand why they went this path. It seems a lot worse than what they had shown. Maybe they ran into problems. I don't know. I'm not a white knight, but I also, at this point, don't care about the Lich system. It's not worth it. It's not fun. It's not enticing for me as a veteran. Unless you're, into an insane amount of MR fodder grind and grind wall to kill each Lich and whatever. It's just not for me. So, what did we get in this update? Well, first off, we got some Exilus slot for primaries as well as secondaries. Yay! So what can you put on these? Well, pretty much just these. Yep. Don't mind eject magazine. That's useful to a degree. Suppress can be really fun. Targeting subsystem, okay. Lethal momentum, that could be fun on this. But overall, weapon recoil. I mean, I don't like that they came with their own dash to begin with. That kind of annoys me, but hey, it's something new. So, we also got this new Melee 2.9. What's Melee 2.9, you may be asking? Well, it's slashies and dashies and closing. A lot of closing effects. We also got slams. We've had that since really Fortuna, but we also now no holograph challenge. We have Mega Slam. Yay. Where did those nuts come from? Did you see that? There were like nuts floating in the air. Nuts, yeah, see like nuts and bolts. Where are there nuts on this bolts holders? That's all that's holding this together. I don't know, but that seems funny and makes a lot of sense. Okay, so stances have changed. Go to melee combo. They really haven't changed much. You've got standing still, you've got left trigger and standing still, moving forward, moving forward. There is also a aiming backward one, even though they don't. If you aim backward while doing it, you get a different stance, and it doesn't do the forward one. So keep that in mind. So even if you're aiming forward, it'll only do the aim forward one if you've got like the left trigger while aiming forward. If you're aiming backward while doing it, it still does the aim forward part, but not the slam. So keep that in mind. Now, this whole Melee 2.9 thing is, in my opinion, how it's gone about is a good idea. The concept of it is good. The problem was how the mechanics work now is literally, and I mean, I'm not joking, literally how originally the game played already. So we've gone this kind of full circle. And no, I do not take credit for figuring this out. Me and a bunch of players have been talking about this. Lele, who's on PS4, kind of gave me the tip because I was having problems on my Exalted Blade as well as my normal melee, and I couldn't figure out why my system wasn't working. I was trying to do new methods. Well, the new method is really the old method, and you may be wondering, what does that mean? So, let me demonstrate. We'll call path on the left crit, and we'll call path on the right status. So, and this will be crit status hybrids. So, initially in melees, right, you can see their stats. If you had critical with a good amount of status, you went into the middle category, so you could do a crit status hybrid. You didn't really focus too hard on the crit because the status buffed your critical damage enough that you didn't really have to go that far, and it was just an easy way to rip things apart with condition overload. So that's dead. You may be, what do you mean by dead? It's not that it's dead, it's just not an effective method of fighting right now. The way the game has changed things, you're either going to go to A or B. pure status or pure hybrid, or I should say pure critical. You can throw a little status on your critical, that's not bad, but you should primarily focus on the critical. If you have status and want to go that route, focus on a pure status. Don't really care too much about the critical, other than maybe a little bit. So, what does this entail? You make a crit build. Yay. Because I'm on Skijat, I use that just to bump that up a little more because I have an innate Umbra slot. I have 2 Umbra form I've never used. Why? Because I find them pointless on 99% of the frames because you don't really need them, but everybody wants to squeeze that little bit of power out. So all the stances got change-ups. I would say I really like the 2 gold ones, how they work, but Blind Justice, even though it's underhand style, is more toward my style IRL, so that's just what I use. Now, Quickening used to be that garbage mod that you would channel energy, and while you're channeling, you got like a little bit of attack speed. So now it's actually really useful. What else has changed? Let's see, in terms of actually being useful to your builds. Life Strike versus Healing Return. So, Life Strike got nerfed, and you go, what do you mean? It still says 20% lifesteal on heavy attack. So basically, you have to stand still, press your heavy attack, or hold B, or whatever, and that slow wind-up animation has you taking damage, and then you do a hit, and you get life back. Well, by the time you're done, you've already lost another chunk of life. So I only really endorse this on certain weapons, and I'll explain those. Healing Return for most of your slash and strikes, fast attack things, is pretty much where you want to go. Also, Primed Reach plus Healing Return plus Quickening. There's a nice little synergy. I don't want to say bug, but it's synergistic. And I'll demonstrate that. Let's see. Exalted Weapons got a hard hit. And I mean a hard hit. So, Wukong Prime used to be really fun, and that's what I've been using on PC, because Prime for my PC character, and Umbra for my Xbox, because that's just how I wanted to play. As I said, you know, heavy attacks have changed, so you could even put Life Strike here, because now with Primed Reach you can obtain some nice range here. Okay, so let's simulate this so you see what I mean. So Gladiator mods for some reason show on my Exalted Blade, but when I'm playing Wukong Prime on PC it doesn't, so I'm not sure what that really means. Oh yeah, finishers you have to get point blank and hit X. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it does. You have to be like on these guys, aim at their back. I notice if you get their HP down, you activate Pazaron. Please note these are 150s, and I'm just melting them into one hit or a few. So, as I'm showing, I'm getting like 100k plus on some damage. 40,000 right there, and I've already killed everything. Now you see my little zappy shoulder plates kicked in. What would be channeling is now based on your combo counter, so when you start reaching the max, air quote, 12 combo hits on some melees, 11 plus I would say, gets those animations and particle effects started. So if you miss those are still here. Yay. Go us. Now, as you saw, it's just a critical weapon. Does that mean it's bad against heavies? Well, let's just try that. It's not that it's bad, because originally this is how we actually made builds. We went pure crit or pure status. Status used to be worse. Now status actually has some nice benefits. Heat has some good things. So I mean, it melts it. Yes, Mykovac killed it with its armor in the last 2 hits, but I already had it halfway down in a few hits anyways, so just keep that in mind. Fast strikes with heavy hits and range help. Now you should also have noticed my combo counter was scaling up very fast. That's due to quickening. So I mean, I don't even need Berserker on this. I'm pretty much moving as fast as when I had Berserker, which probably means I'm close to the limit of animation speed on this. Sometimes Berserker gets a little too fast, if you know what I mean. This thing is called the Pazaron. So up here, when you get your Lich, you get these little black mods. You have to unlock murmurs by basically doing the missions that are within the area of your Lich to figure out which ones to put here and which ones will kill your guy. Otherwise, if you try to kill it with the wrong one, he kills you. Which, in my opinion, is not what was shown in TennoCon. Granted, they have the right to change things, but you know, overall the whole Lich system to me is not worth it. So I'm not doing it. Simple as that. You have a choice, so make your choice, do whatever. Now, I don't have any Gladiator mods on him, right? That sounds interesting. So yes, reverting to IPS build, I can get more damage out with a little critical thanks to the Sacrificial Steel buff. Yes, it's rather nice. True Steel also got a buff to, if I can see it, there you go. So now it's kind of in the same league as the primaries. You can easily get red crits, especially with Blood Rush and some other mods like the Gladiators buffed up in. Let's throw some garbage enemies here. These are my most hated enemies. Why? Well, because they do this little slingshot to my head. Unlike the Scorpions from Gungnir, these guys almost always can get a headshot, get some bleed damage on you. It's rather annoying. So, we know DE does not like Excalibur doing this. Yes, I've been doing some really nasty damage attacks. DE does not want us to do spam a lot, range attacks, kills everything, even though, well, as you can see, it's not really as effective as we're, but I can still do it. So, I mean, mainly they want us to be point blank doing this. That's why I put reach on mine. So it's almost like I've got another extra foot to attack out from. So it feels like I'm using my Exalted Blade. It means, but it's really just how long the Exalted Blade itself is on strike. So keep that in mind. So overall, what did this do? Well, basically go IPS build, go with some raw damage on your Wukong Prime or your Valkyrie is actually an interesting one I was playing with. So, yes, I call her Liger. So let's talk about Valkyrie now. Crit chance is not bad, okay? So if you have a companion that buffs your crit chance, like my dear little Kavat, or you know, something. Let's get this going so you can see what I mean. Just because it's 160, Gladiator mods aren't working on Exalteds, even though you saw some working on mine. I don't know why that is. So you can see I can get orange hits with Valkyrie now. And even red right there. That was nothing. And I lost him. So I reverted to crit builds on this. So basically a lot of high-end critical damage with some bleed here and there. You can pretty much take down most enemies. And since these things are way more stronger than you're gonna find in anything below hand in any normal mission, even hundreds are only what you see in sorties. So basically what I'm saying is most normal gameplay is now 100 to like 1. Granted, most of us higher level players are high up fighting the sorties daily and doing other missions and scaling enemies up to 100, maybe a little 100 plus, but for the most part there is actually no real reason to be fighting, you know, level 1000 enemies, so building for that anymore is kind of pointless unless you're really into it, mind you. Let's see. Now, for heavy weapons, Life Strike is actually really good, and you're wondering why. Well, like on a big tanky guy with this, even though enemies are hitting him, this guy's got enough health and energy that he just doesn't care, so you can run around here Yes, I purposely only took a little bit out. So, I mean, see, it also knocks him in the air. I did not come up with this build, my friend did. So, I mean, you can actually, in effect, absorb, like, the whole map in this huge wave strike. And just belch them off the side here. Goodbye, enemies. Gary killed that enemy. So see what I mean? Big heavy hits. Is that enemy invisible? That happened to me before. At least I caught it on stream this time. Okay, so goodbye, Rendo Invisible. Okay, so let's talk about other changes. Heat. Heat has also changed now. What do you mean heat has changed, Mako? Well, if you weren't here for the whole Ember Vauban getting reworked, let's talk about fire. My original build, Heart of Fire. It's a bit fiery. It still works. Now granted, I can fit 2 Umbral slots in here. Look, no Umbra mods, ma. I'm not kidding, I actually do. I have 2 Umbra mods that I've never used. Also an Aura. Interesting. Now, is an Umbra mod required? No, but it makes you all positive and has some higher health benefits. What about Umbra Fiber? If you have Adaption or any other sort of self-tanky mode, you really don't care about it, all honesty. I didn't even put this in here. Don't know why I didn't do that. Must have been a reason. I think I was trying to put something here. Anywho, it's 45. It's 45 versus 40, so it's just a little more energy you can get. Back on the farm, you may be thinking to me. So, flame damage now does a damage over time, which is nice, as you can see. The other factor is it also can cut armor. That's right. Heat now melts armor. Yep. And that's why I don't like these guys. That stupid little hook they do, interrupting attacks. I'm not too happy with the stances now being able to be interrupted. So before I would do this and nobody could stop me, even if I'm getting hit and damage, I could still, you know, take the enemy out, as it were. Well, now we don't get to do that. Now they can catch us in midair and slam us to the ground. You're not quick enough. Now, granted, I'm also not turning on Ember's new power, so she actually has this new mode where it gives her damage reduction. Yay, but you have to watch this meter or it starts draining your energy a lot. And even then, enemies can still kill you. Why? Because they can damage you while their animation is showing them on the ground, or being knocked back, or whatever. For some reason my death cube does not want me to come back. So, I've also been finding it kind of hard to get these guys. Like, you have to walk right behind them to do their thing, which that's always how it's been, but you know what, with this new melee update, I'm really annoyed that they have split finishers up, which, okay, if you're gonna do finishers and fix them all the way. Don't forget about adjusting the placement of doing finishers. 90% of the time, we're either attacking them from some random direction, so if we do a finisher, we hit X, they're open to finishers, we should just be able to do a finisher. You don't have to stand directly behind, press X at specific timing. Don't do that, that's not fun, DE. Anyway, back on fire. So, fire has the ability now when striking an opponent. I kind of missed the, you know, burning ball of death. Anyway, fire now when afflicted to opponent cuts their armor down. I believe it's 2/2, but it's capped 1. You can't just keep spamming fire on top of an enemy and stacking the amount of damage. Now, how come Ember's 1 can start scaling its damage, but Exalted Blade, even on the 1, you know, Blade Dash on Excalibur, Why don't we get that? That's kind of silly. So maybe wondering, again, crit chance, build, little status, makes it perfectly okay. Quickening, scale that up faster. It's rather nice. Oh, the other factor is for our crit chance Rivens, crit chance also gets a buff. Now they said this, but mine actually got nerfed because before my crit chance was, I believe, 85 and crit damage 85, so my crit damage seems to have actually got a buff. Which I'm not complaining, but they stated crit chance would be, so if we haven't got that update yet, I know they've been nerfing things without telling people. Again on Rivens, yay. Or just kind of like, oh yeah, we adjusted this little aspect. It's not fun. Okay, I was trying to think of something else to show everybody before I sign off. So, my Mirage, yes, I really like my Mirage. A lot of people seem to as well. Don't know why. So, grays are here. Red is here. And this is kind of my go-to gold factors actually in Shamrock, so it actually makes these kind of white gold mixers platinum. I like it. So that's all I used for her, for those who ask me whenever I show her. So you may be wondering, why did you bring up Mirage? Well, I'm actually here to show you the Fang Prime. Now, the Fang Prime, you're like, Mac, it's Fang Prime, why are you bringing that out? Well, due to the update, it's actually pretty good, and mine has a ribbon, so I have an insane amount of range. So, the Fang Prime, as well as Reaper Prime, actually got a nice overall buff, and I was testing these out and trying to give it. I like Spinning Needle on it. I was re-leveling it up, as you can clearly see. Ribbon Disposition, Mako likes. Now, the minus crit chance, you're like, oh no, it doesn't even matter. Because of this, plus that range is 7.6. That's the same as some bloody pole arms, okay? I'm not kidding. Look at that range, look at that. So, I mean, it already has nice, decent range. That just pushes it way over the edge to be in the same level as pole arms. And it's just two little knives, so I actually really have been having some fun with it, with her. But I've also been noticing when I'm doing this, sometimes you'll notice the screen kind of loses some frames per second. I'm not really sure. Let's throw some enemies up so you can see what I'm talking about. It's like they generate too many particles. Yeah, there you saw some frame drop right there. So I've already reported that we're losing performance when this does it. I'm thinking is whenever you see it spin, you see it does this kind of particle dripping animation. Oh. Man, that felt laggy. And it's just the amount of particles these things are generating at frame dropping, so if you're not using Mirage, you should be fine, but man, it's super frame drop. It kills your performance. I do like how they fixed it so the clones also match her colors now, even when she goes into this mode. That's actually a nice touch. Okay, next weapon we're going to talk about is the Reaper Prime. Oh look, the texture is a bug because for some reason when you switch from Mirage to anything else you get this bug texture. Just for point of fact, this is what my Nyx actually looks like. So please, no judging on my Nyx for looking weird for some reason. So, Reaper Prime, kind of the same thing. I was loving it because I have a bunch of Forma. Quickening, I actually find I like Reaping Spiral more than Stalking Fan now. Just because, as you can see, it does a lot of hits per second. It even throws it, which is rather nice. Rock on. Okay. So, another thing to note is sometimes when you're switching these around, let me Blood Rush. Sometimes they'll get buffed. Now, Reaping Spiral doesn't, so there's really no benefit unless you really, really like the new stance mode. It's not worth it. Pick the one that fits you. I mean, I'm hoping DE will eventually release something that's useful in terms of giving us what benefits are given per stance attack and whatnot. Now this also goes for the fact that Hate is also scaled with this too. I was playing with Hate, which led me to the discovery of Reaper Prime getting some nice... So let's go show you that. Just let those guys kill each other. So, Reaper Prime is actually nice now. Yay, Reaper Prime! I only wanted to use it for like years, so... As you can see, Hate also got a nice buff, so it's a little stronger in base damage, slower in crit chance, speed, and status. Just a little lower, so keep that in mind. Now, I've been showing you a lot of crit builds, and you're like, but Mac, what happened to status? Don't tell me it's dead. No, it's not dead, and I'm kind of contemplating who to show you next on that. This is my Wisp. I really like her. Yes, I call her Death. She's kind of one of my 4 Horsemen Apocalypse concept. Now, since this is a big scythe, even though it's technically not a scythe, I don't care, but Exodia Force, really recommend. If you don't know what that does, it basically blows up every time a status proc does and does an AoE of the status, so it further does nice. Heat, Corrosive, Viral. Yeah, cutting armor in half, melting the armor faster, and cutting their HP in half. It's rather vicious, especially with slash and puncture buffs. So this is a pretty high status. Okay, critical. You're like, and yes, I have condition overload. Yay, condition overload is not worthless. So let me... I'm actually contemplating putting quickening on this too. If you don't know, these guys are more affected by gas and corrosive by itself, so... I chose her for a reason, because when I actually get going with her, she's kind of annihilating. So, yes, those are kind of required to make it even better, but that's just on Wisp, mind you. It's rather fun. This is also our new Tenogen, if you did not notice. We also got a helmet. Oh, my friend Freezing Hazmat. You did a very nice job. Just doesn't fit my Reaper Death theme I was going with. Now, I don't know why it does the heavy attack whenever I switch. It's really irritating. Let's go to... Where is it? Not you. Titania's got a nice buff, but I'm looking for some... Ivara. So initially with Ivara, I was doing what I called the Destructo Disc. Well, now we're back to Destructo Disc 1.0. And yes, I'm using gas. And you're like, oh, but gas got nerfed. Yes, but because of this and how the mechanics have been reversed, it actually works like it used to. So let's just get... Now mind you, this is not my Uber mode I did before. This is a lot of energy, but you're seeing him basically pretty much insta-killing these 150s. I am not good at aiming this thing, never have been, honestly. That's why I like the Zenistar. I could just throw it down and it was... Adi does not want us to be AFK killing with our Uber Zenistar, so Zenistar now scales on combo counters, so if you're used to using it this way, yeah, it's gone. Sorry. Don't. It's still pretty destructive. You just have to hit a bunch of people before you throw it. And then now with the B button sticking, it's... So basically throwing it. I should apply quickening to this. Contemplations. We also have Ivara Prime coming December 17th, I believe, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, so I know somebody probably enjoyed me blowing myself up there, but overall, this is rather nice now to just be able to do, you know, a couple million damage again with this. Noting that I can kind of kill these guys pretty much on initially one throw. That's some serious damage too. Second throw kind of does them in. Or just one throw. Told you, I'm not the best at using this thing. Never have been. I mean, that's 11,000 damage a tick on that one. This has 600,000 damage. Or 6 mil, I'm not even sure. It looked like 626,000 to me, but it's higher than that. That's funny. Doesn't take much to kill enemies. I'm thinking I'll put an Exile slot on my Hystrix here. For stealth purposes, you know, with Vara. So the Hystrix, if I'm saying that right, because people always say I don't. My Hystrix is actually pretty good. Usually melts heavy to armored, whatever, in a few seconds. Now let's go to the Glaive build, which I'm thinking some people are like, Gleaming Talon? Yes, I actually have always liked Gleaming Talon. I've never been too fan of this, but Astral Twilight was the best for close combat. Now, because of this melee rework, let me go pure melee, which is you hold Y. It's got some nice range throws. Keep it up with the Astral. I like that, personally, which is a slam. And then it does a radial AoE of whatever's here. And because it's gas radially, gas radially, and it just kind of blows up a bunch of enemies. So keep that in mind. Overall, it's been fun. Now this is to go with Exalted Melee's got a bit of a So prior with Dewata, it was one of the few ones that could use Blood Rush and some other mods. Well, that's gone, so keep that in mind. If you use Titania, air quotes, used, not everybody did. Keep it in mind, this has changed. This really hasn't. I like being stealthy. Now, I don't know why we don't get an Exalted Exilus slot, because it is technically a primary. Same thing with, you know, or a secondary, but whatever. Whatever, the inconsistencies annoy me. Same concept, decent amount of crit, status. No. So pretty much any of the Plague Zaws. So all mine are right next to each other. So I got Pestis Mortalis, Pestis Pistilla, the Plague of Plagues, Plague of Mortality, or something like that. Anyway, anything with these two tips, if you're using just a pure Plague Zaw build, are good with status. This is good with status too. Let's see. Oh, this is fun with crit. I thought I used it on her. Another one. So she, because she is a shield type, she has no real way to self-heal. I thought giving her this, because if you slam with this, it self-heals. Plus it heals defense position targets still, so yay, keeping that little benefit. Now there's also something that's annoying. You saw I just pulled out my first power for some reason. I'm literally hitting X, and it's for some reason grabbing the first power. So there's this annoying power button stick happening again, and every time we get a hotfix, it sometimes fixes it. I was trying to think of something. What would a big girl like Hildra need? And, you know, swinging a giant mace around that does a lot of reds seemed like a good idea. So in some ways, we got nerfs, we got buffs, we got kind of nerf buff kind of intermission. So heavy attacks are nice now. Scale them up with your combo counter. They can do some really insane damage. Oh yeah, that's logical. I love how these guys' AI can be really vicious and kind of just insane in here, but when you fight them normally, they're not. Anyway, so Sanctum Magister plus Sildren is a nice combo. Pretty much all my loadouts are featured based upon combos I found very useful. Sanctum Magister, Jaw Sword to scale up her 1. The Dark Dagger to give her energy, plus I use, I think, Viral Radiation, Pure Radiation to give her some shields, which increases her survivability. Spin to win. Orthos Prime got a nice buff in terms of damage. Skindo Prime, as I showed, is really fun now. Fang Prime, as I said, has some performance issues here on Xbox. I don't know about other people. Tellus Boltus is still the same. I haven't changed it, I think. I mean, it does have high amount of status, but I've just gone corrosive with it, so I don't know if I need that. Which is my range on this? Yeah, another insane range build. Set 0.61. With the melee damage, it's rather nice. So I could actually remove this. That was right on it, cursed me. Put that there. Get some serious damage out. Let's go test this out, since you're me, whoever's watching this. At this time, I have no idea how strong this will be. By the way, if you don't know Mag's, one of Mag's little special synergies with her 1, the enemies affected by her 1 are killed, they drop an energy orb. This is why I have this weapon. Little bit of a frame drop with these too. And it seems to be per hit generated. Yeah, I'm not even triggering any sort of special power, it's just all these little particle effects, I think, are stacking up and creating kind of a bug effect per the bleed, per the hit, plus the number generation. It's causing a script lag, so I'll note that in a patch note. Or, not a patch note, a thread note feedback. Let's not assume that Larkspur. Jacket tag. I just like big hammers with her. Plus with her it scales up the amount. So I already showed that. I mean, there's really not much more. Oh, this is something. So, as I've talked about before with Life Strike and Healing Return, I know this is ending up to be a long kind of Twitch stream, but overall, I think she looks better with that one personally. Life Strike, what is it used for? So, Jack Kusar, anything that does a, you know, range heavy attack can benefit from Life Strike. And as we all know, I like me some Gunblade with my Banshee. If you don't know, look at Warframe's Instagram. That's all I have to say on it. Anyway, so Gunblade's got a bit of a tweak. So, hopefully... So, let's see how this works. So, because this is counted as a Life Strike, charge hit, a heavy hit, I can just keep doing this and heal myself. You may think this is cheatsy, but I don't care. Oh no, because they do that. Now let's make this a little more fun. You're like, how can you make... Let's try one-shotting. Because, as I said, Condition Overload got a nice bit of a nerf. Yes, I'm literally just one-shotting these guys now. Now the combo counter doesn't scale up, which I think that's fair. Odd, but whatever. Not like it's gonna stop me from having fun with the Redeemer and Banshee, mind you, but... Did I really kill everybody already? Wow, guess I did. Okay, so... Charge hits are counted as Life Strike, so just make sure you have something to rapidly charge this with, and ta-da! It scales pretty quickly. Just really, really nice. I also put Quickening on it, and Amalgam Organ Shatter to buff up that heavy attack wind-up, so 60% of that. So that's literally just, you know... I can just do back-to-back. If there's a big enemy in front of me, I can pretty much just keep stun locking them with this and killing them. So keep that in mind. Hey, look, my textures are back to working again. Cool. Don't know why that bugs out with, what's her name? Mirage. So, basically what you should learn is go pure status, use Condition Overload, try Virus, or Viral as it's called here. Viral builds, gas builds, Viral Radiation with Condition Overload still works really nice. But those kind of builds that were in that middle area of crit status builds, those are gone. So keep that in mind and just kind of work with it. I mean, we can all complain and rage, oh, it's changed, it's changed. Well, it hasn't, it hasn't. As I've stated, it's basically just come full circle back to the original playstyle. Just where you focus on status or focus on critical. Or just, like with Exalted Weapons, focus on just, you know, raw, straight damage. So put some strong stat mods on it, throw some strong, you know, critical damage. or just damage buffers, and you're good to go, honestly. So thanks for watching. I hope this has been a, you know, of some help for those of you who stumble across my channel. And, you know, have a nice day, and see you later, Tenno.